Hello all my Kenvians and welcome to a new episode of Snack-Kenn. Today I'm going to be doing a little thing for St. Patty's Day, even though this video is going to be going up at least a day late. I'm actually recording this on St. Patrick's Day, but hopefully you all will still enjoy it. I recently came across some pretty interesting looking snacks, and hopefully you all will enjoy it as well, and hopefully some of you know what these are. But I found Grace's brand Irish Shortbread made with Irish butter and Irish Oatmeal biscuits, also made with Irish butter. So yeah, I'm going to give these a try and see what they're like. You know, how appropriate is it to have something Irish on St. Patrick's Day, because I mean, you know, the green beer doesn't really count. It tends to be Budweiser and all that, and it just doesn't really count. But I'm going to start off with the Irish Shortbread. And while I'm opening this up, what I will personally be comparing this to will be the shortbread cookies that... The best way I can describe them is that they come in a blue circular tin. And those of you, I don't know if it's more of an international thing or not, but it's something that's definitely fairly common here in the US. This is really loud, so I'll be talking when I'm done. But yeah, the shortbread cookies that I'm used to come into that blue circular tin, and they, you know, they're rather sweet, they're very buttery. Tend to be mass-produced though, at least from what I can tell, so they're kind of bland, but some of them do have like bits of sugar on top, like not little fine granules, but like actual, what would you call it, crystals, sugar crystals? Sure, we'll go with that on top of the cookies, so that always adds a bit to the taste. But I'm very interested to try out one of these Irish shortbread cookies made with the Irish butter. And yeah, let's just give it a try. I'm really excited. Oh my god, this is amazing. It's rich, it's buttery, and the flavor actually does remind me a bit of those same shortbread cookies that I was talking about, the ones that come in the blue tin. But the thing is about those, the cookie tends to be very dense. Like, they're usually very small, very dense. And like, the only way they don't feel almost like you're biting into a rock at times is if you've dipped them in milk. But this is another story altogether. It is just, I mean, it still has a nice, I don't know that crunch is the right word for it, but well, maybe crunch is the right word. But the crunch is just perfect. It's not, again, it's not rock hard trying to chew into it. The flavor is phenomenal. I don't know if it's because of the Irish butter in particular or what, but if you ever come across these, and I know I found these at World Market, that's I guess sort of an international store here in the US where they tend to, they sell a lot of furniture and things like that, but also sweets apparently. And yeah, if you're in the US and you see these at a World Market, I definitely recommend these. They're amazing. Honestly, this is one of the best cookies I've had in a long time. So yeah, the Irish shortbread made with Irish butter cookies definitely get a huge thumbs up from me. So awesome. And coming up next, after I finish this off and do a little fast forward, or maybe just a jump cut, I will be trying out the Irish Oatmeal biscuits. Alright, now like I was saying, it's time for the Irish Oatmeal biscuits. And I guess the closest thing that I can try and compare these to, at least before actually trying them, is the idea of oatmeal cookies that we have here in the US. The majority of which I tend to have are more homemade oatmeal cookies. Every now and then I'll get some from like a store or whatever, and they're pretty good, but they also tend, I don't remember the last time I had a oatmeal cookie that didn't have raisins in it. And I've grown to like raisins over the years, but they were never my favorite thing about an oatmeal cookie whenever I would have one growing up. But yeah, so oatmeal cookies in general, they tend to be very, what's the right word here? They have a certain texture to them, shall we say. And especially when they're homemade, you tend to have one of two extremes. You either have the not quite gooey but super soft oatmeal cookies that are probably my favorites as far as that goes. And then you have some that they just bake them until they're basically very chewy, very oatmeal grainy cookies, and those are not the good ones. But I am really excited to try these out, especially after the Irish shortbread. So I'm not going to wait any longer. Let's dig into these Irish oatmeal biscuits and see what I think. Okay, so first of all, the Irish butter is definitely like, the delicious, rich ingredient in this, because it did remind me a lot of the Irish shortbread. But this definitely has some comparisons to the oatmeal cookies that I've had before. And I would say it's more so the store-bought oatmeal cookies. The ones that are kind of that middle of the road between being, super chewy and not quite liquidy, but basically like the better ones that I've described before as far as the homemade ones go. But it has that chewiness at the end that I often associate with oatmeal cookies. Like, there's those little grains of oatmeal. I don't even know if I'm using the right word there. But yeah, it really, after you chew into it, and it kind of melts in your mouth like the Irish shortbread cookies did, there's those little bits of oatmeal left over. And honestly, the way that they've done these cookies, it is so much better than like those leftover bits of oatmeal that are left from the cookies you tend to get here in the US. It doesn't melt in your mouth. There's still some left, but it doesn't feel like there's just a ton of little oatmeal bits left in your mouth. It's like there's just little tiny bits, and it kind of mixes in with the crumbs, I guess, of the cookie as you chew on it. It's really, really good. And again, the flavor is nice and rich. Not quite as rich as the shortbread, admittedly, but the Irish butter does a wonderful job. The flavor of oatmeal is definitely there. Actually, in fact, hold on just one more second. I'm going to try one more bite. Okay, I know exactly what this reminds me of now. Whenever I have oatmeal, usually I have some of the flavored stuff, that comes with Quaker Oats and all that, but one of the things I love to do is I will add some butter to the oatmeal as it's melting or as it's heating up, so it kind of mixes in there. And that's what this reminds me of. The flavor of the butter, it's so rich, and it just adds that additional level of flavor to it. And I also tend to add a little bit of brown sugar to the oatmeal as well. And I don't know if there's brown sugar in this, but just the sweetness of it, whatever sugar they did use, it reminds me of that so much. So yeah, having one of these Irish oatmeal biscuits is like having a nice big bowl of oatmeal with a nice big dollop of butter mixed in there. It is just amazing. I love it. So yeah, both of these on St. Patrick's Day, both get a huge thumbs up from me. Highly recommend that if you ever come across these, you get them. I don't know if this is a brand that's it can be found over in the UK or over in Ireland more specifically. Let's see here. Does it say it's from Northern Ireland? Grace's Irish Biscuits. So I assume that it's available over there. But for those of you here in the US, if you come across a world market or any other place that sells some of these international sweets, and again, you come across these biscuits, I highly recommend you get them. They are just absolutely delicious, and I am fighting myself right now to not dig in to both of these packages. I have to let them last a little while longer. I can't eat them all right now. Or can I? I shouldn't. But yeah, in general, if you come across the shortbread, I think that the majority of people are going to love this. And honestly, even the oatmeal biscuits, if you're not a fan of oatmeal cookies, I would still give this a try at least, because it's honestly one of the best oatmeal cookies I've ever had. And again, it's sort of similar to the store-bought oatmeal cookies, but without the raisins. And even though I like raisins, that's a good thing. All right. So everyone, thank you very much for being here for this episode of Snack-Kenn with me, Papa Ken. And if there's anything else you would like for me to keep an eye out for whenever I go to World Market as far as cookies or sweets, let me know and I will definitely keep an eye out for them. They are lacking on certain things, like they didn't have any Jelly Babies, which made me really sad. They didn't have any Jammy Dodgers, which also made me really sad. But they do seem to have things from those brands, from what I can tell. So yeah, it's hard to say. Just let me know what you would like to see in one of the upcoming episodes, and I will do my best to accommodate. Otherwise, I'm just going to see what's around next time I go to the World Market, and it should be pretty sweet. But until next time, everyone, I am Papa Ken. Please leave your thoughts in the comments down below. If there's anything you would like to send, I have the P.O. Box for Papa Ken Media in the description down below. And until next time, everyone, I'm Papa Ken. Later days. The Irish the Irish oatmeal biscuit. It's like having a bowl of oatmeal with a nuts big. Excuse me, I choked for a minute there. But